What do you need to create a living room home theater? I will give a brief summary of all the elements needed to create a living room that can also be used as a home theater. The home theater room par excellence is the one that is composed of rows of sofas, a projector with a screen, and essentially is a miniature cinema. Not everyone can have this room, this hall. The example I'll discuss in this video, on the other hand, is accessible to all. So let's initiate our stay. The first major choice is between having a TV or opting for a projector. The TV is visible even during the day and with the lights on, but the screen size is generally much smaller compared to a projection system. Watching TV for long durations can be tiring for the eyes, mainly because of the direct light that is focused on our eyes during this time. If we choose a solution with a projector, the screen will generally be much larger compared to a TV. The vision will be more immersive and the experience will be more cinematic or closer to what it is if we go to the cinema. On the other hand, even artificial light or light coming from the window changes our image. And in the case of full daylight or very large windows with a lot of light coming in, you most likely won't see much. Regarding the colors of a room in a home theater living room context, my preference is for gray tones. I would aim to avoid white, or at least not have the entire room in white, especially to prevent reflections, particularly if you decide to go with a projector as the solution. The sofa is also important. It must be comfortable and with a headrest, to avoid getting tired, especially during very long movies. We need to define the type of home theater, whether to make a 5.1, 7.1, 9.1 or Dolby Atmos. The most immersive and innovative solution is obviously Dolby Atmos. Then we have to decide what type of speaker to use, whether recessed, whether freestanding, whether wall-mounted. There are many types, let's say a little something for everyone's taste. It is essential to try to respect as much as possible the setup of a home theater system. For example, I don't know the position of the speakers relative to the listening point. The heights, the symmetry. It's obvious that in a living room, in this context, which is a theater living room, we try to do the best we can. So we adapt because, as we said at the beginning, it's not a room dedicated to this function. However, respecting as much as possible implies bringing home. It signifies having a system that is subsequently fully appreciated and valued. If you need any specific info, write me in the comments and I can send you some details. The acoustics of the room must not be overly reverberant, as this would completely nullify the intended result and render it ineffective. We need to plan to install sound-absorbing surfaces inside our room so we can place acoustic panels if we have adopted the solution with the projection screen, even behind the screen if it is functionally possible. Otherwise, they can be placed in the first third of the room, which can be on the walls or ceiling. Obviously, there are calculations to be done. There is important work behind it. They cannot be placed randomly, but it is still important to correct the acoustics because it is essential for quality listening, for an immersive listening experience. Otherwise, let's assume that everything is confusing. Even the intelligibility of speech is lost, with so many dialogues that may not be clear. Being somewhat in the background, there is a risk of masking themselves and becoming something that is then not understood. The sound-absorbing panels should be inserted symmetrically in any case, so it does not make sense to put them solely on the right wall if, for instance, the left wall has plaster. Placing them symmetrically also ensures a more symmetrical listening experience. Thick carpets that effectively reduce floor reflection are perfect for sound dampening in a room. The furniture that will contain our electronics must be at least 50 centimeters deep, and if you have top amplifiers of a higher range, it is better to have a depth of 55-60 centimeters because they are much bulkier, and when you insert the connectors, this depth increases because many times when you look at the manual and go to buy an amplifier, the amplifier is stated to be 45 centimeters long. One says, well, perfect. I have a furniture with an internal useful depth of 46. Perfect. Okay, but I haven't inserted the connectors yet. When I go to insert the HDMI or other connectors, then it doesn't fit anymore. There must be good heat dissipation. So there must be incoming air and outgoing air, so fresh air enters and hot air exits. There are furniture specifically built companies that make specific products for this type of use. Or otherwise, if one uses furniture on the market, maybe the advice is to use maybe open doors or open sliding doors, or make modifications and ensure that there is this passage of air. To make our speakers work, obviously all the electronics are needed. Starting point are good audio-video amplifier, sources, then for gaming lovers, PlayStation, Xbox. I always recommend equipping this room, so home theater living room, with all those things that make us feel good. Who is merely a cinema enthusiast, okay, we halt at the audio-video amplifier, we halt at the sources, but possessing a home theater room for a gaming lover is crucial because nowadays nearly all games are in Dolby Surround. So in brief, playing with an effect like this in front of a projection screen or perhaps even a large TV provides a completely distinct gaming experience, significantly more immersive and significantly more rewarding. A good intelligent remote control is crucial for a room such as this and must handle the situations. For instance, in a film scenario, I press a button and a multitude of things have to happen in order to progress the story. We need to turn on the projector or our TV. You have to turn on the audio-video amplifier. Then you have to set it to the right input. You will have to turn on the source. Then maybe you can turn off the lights. All this must happen just by pressing a button. And this is a functionality that one could save if they wanted to. But try to do all these gestures with 3 different commands or by pressing different buttons, the convenience goes practically to zero. So it is important to have a good remote control. There are many on the market, let's say, from the cheapest to the most advanced. And so by pressing a button, we are ready to watch our streaming movie on Netflix, Disney, plus Amazon Prime. These are all the main points to work on to make a room like this. Then, obviously, to go into detail, it is better to trust a partner, a specialized technician. But let's say that this video also serves to put in the perspective of the ideas of what will be done. And there are many points that are not always touched, like for example the sofa or other things, but they are choices that need to be made carefully, that need to be done. Well, also the choice of the furniture. Many maybe buy the living room furniture thinking of putting electronics in it without looking at cooling, without looking at the depth. And instead, this is fundamental for any doubt or question. If you want to deepen, write me in the comments. See you in the next video. Thanks. See you soon.